Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. World leaders condole the death of Pope Francis. Prime Minister Modi says he's deeply pained, recalls his Vatican visit. US Vice President J.D. Vance begins his 4-day India visit. Visits Swami Narayan Akshardham Temple with his family. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses the 17th Civil Services Day, says government policies being worked on now will shape India's future for the next 1,000 years. And the Indian stock markets witnessed a sharp rally. They rise for the 5th consecutive session. IT banking stocks rally. The Sensex settles 855 points higher. The Nifty is up above 24,100. The US Vice President J.D. Vance is in India on a 4-day official visit. He's accompanied by his wife, Usha Vance, their children, and a delegation of senior US government officials. This is Vice President Vance's first visit to India. The US Vice President and the Second Lady were received at the Palam Air Base by the Railways and Information Broadcasting Minister and Information Technology Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. The American leader was also accorded a ceremonial welcome on his arrival. J.D. Vance's children were dressed in traditional Indian attire. J.D. Vance's visit from the 21st to the 24th of April, spanning Delhi, Jaipur and Agra, is expected to further deepen the India-US comprehensive global strategic partnership. The US Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife Usha Vance, along with their children, visited the Swami Narayan Akshardham Temple in New Delhi, their first stop in India, experiencing its majestic art, architecture and timeless values of faith, family and harmony. Pope Francis has died at the age of 88, the Vatican said on Monday. Pope Francis was elected Pope in 2013 and became the first pontiff from the Americas and the first Jesuit to lead the Roman Catholic Church. He succeeded Pope Benedict XVI, who had made that rare decision of stepping down from the papacy for the first time in nearly 600 years. Now, Francis was admitted to hospital on the 14th of February with a severe respiratory infection. The 88-year-old Pope was hospitalized for 5 weeks, suffering from double pneumonia. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has condoled the passing of Pope Francis. In a social media post, the Prime Minister said that he was deeply pained by the passing of His Holiness Pope Francis. He hailed him as a beacon of compassion, humility and spiritual courage. Further, Prime Minister Modi said that the Pope Francis, diligently served the poor and the downtrodden and was a spirit of hope to those who were suffering. The Prime Minister also recalled his meetings with the Pope, and he said that he was greatly inspired by his commitment to inclusive and all-round development. His affection also for the people of India will always be cherished. As the leader of the largest sect of Christianity, Pope Francis has departed for his heavenly abode. The world is reacting profoundly to his passing. On social media platform X, the EU chief Ursula von der Leyen remarked that the Pope inspired millions. The Russian President Vladimir Putin hailed Pope Francis as a defender of humanism and justice, while the Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin said that he spoke out for the poor, the marginalized and the oppressed. The US President Donald Trump, along with other leaders, including the French President Emmanuel Macron, they expressed their condolences. Pope Francis passed away at the age of 88. He made his final appearance on Easter Sunday before his death. Francis led the Catholic Church for over a decade, becoming the first Jesuit and the first Latin American to hold the papacy.
Pope Francis was born Jorge Mario Bergoglio on the 17th of December 1936 in Buenos Aires. He became the 266th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church. He was the first Pope from Latin America and the first Jesuit Pope, a Society of Jesus, a Roman Catholic religious order of men. He was known for his humility, dedication to social justice, and efforts to reform the Church. Pope Francis made a significant impact on the global stage. Jorge Mario Bergoglio was born into a middle-class family of Italian immigrants. He initially pursued a career as a chemical technician before feeling a strong calling to priesthood. In 1958, he entered the Jesuit order and began his formal religious education. He studied humanity and obtained a licentiate in philosophy in Buenos Aires. He taught literature and psychology at the high school level. Bergoglio was ordained a priest on the 13th of December 1969. He made his final vows as a Jesuit in 1973 and served as the superior of the Argentine Jesuit province. During this period, he was deeply involved in education and spiritual leadership, promoting Christian values and social justice. Later, Bergoglio was appointed Auxiliary Bishop of Buenos Aires and became the Archbishop of Buenos Aires in 1998 and was consecrated as a cardinal in 2001. As Archbishop, he focused on uplifting the community, social outreach, and advocating for poor and marginalized. On the 13th of March 2013, Bergoglio was elected Pope, taking the name Francis in honor of Saint Francis of Assisi, who is known for his service to the poor. His papacy has been marked by a commitment to humility, social justice, and environmental stewardship. Pope Francis consistently advocated for the rights of the poor and migrants, emphasizing the Church's duty to stand by them. He implemented significant internal reforms within the Vatican and addressed various global issues, including climate change and interfaith dialogue. As Archbishop of Buenos Aires, a diocese with more than 3 million inhabitants, he conceived of a missionary project based on communion and spreading the Catholic faith. He had 4 main goals: open and brotherly communities, an informed lay community playing a lead role, taking the message of Jesus to every inhabitant of the city, and assistance to the poor and the sick. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, with the death of Pope Francis announced by the Vatican on Monday, the Roman Catholic Church will begin elaborate rituals which are steeped in tradition that mark the end of one papacy and lead to the start of the next. So let's understand how a new pope is elected. The process of electing a pope is a centuries-old tradition in the Roman Catholic Church. The next pope will be the 267th leader of the 2,000-year-old Catholic Church and become sovereign of the Vatican city-state. When a pope dies or resigns, the College of Cardinals, comprising bishops and Vatican officials from around the world, takes over the governance of the Catholic Church. The bishops and cardinals hold a series of meetings called General Congregations to discuss the state of the Church and prepare for the upcoming election. They also make arrangements for the funeral and burial of the deceased pope. The cardinal electors, 120 in number, limited to cardinals below the age of 80, pray and meditate in the magnificent Sistine Chapel, the walls and ceilings of which have been painted by Michelangelo and is regarded as one of the most priceless artworks in existence. There, they take an oath of secrecy and lock themselves in for the duration of the conclave. There are 4 Indian cardinals eligible to participate in the conclave. They are Cardinal Basilios Klimas Isaac Totunkal, Major Archbishop of Thiruvananthapuram, of the Syro Malankara Rite, which is in communion with the Catholic Church. Cardinal Anthony Pula, Archbishop of Hyderabad. Cardinal Felipe Neri Antonio Sebastio de Rosario Farao, Archbishop of Goa. Cardinal George Jacob Kuvakard, who is in charge of inter-religious dialogue in the Vatican. Of the 120 cardinals, over 63% have been appointed by Pope Francis and are likely to continue with his reformist agenda in the Church. The others form part of a conservative movement that is protecting the centuries-old deposit of the Catholic faith. The cardinals vote by secret ballot. Eligo un summum pontificem. I elect the Most High Pontiff. They fold their ballots twice and drop them into a chalice. 4 rounds of balloting are held each day, until a candidate receives a two-thirds majority. Once a candidate is elected, the ballots are burnt with chemicals that produce white smoke, signaling to the world that a new pope has been chosen. If no candidate is elected, the ballots are burned with chemicals that produce black smoke. Once a candidate is elected, he chooses a papal name and emerges onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica to bless the 1.5 billion Catholics. This ancient process is part of the enduring traditions of the Catholic Church. Bureau Report, DD India. Well, let's take a look at other stories making news from around the world. And Hong Kong's Yuen Long celebrated Tin Hau. It's a festival. They did so on Sunday, and it falls on the 23rd day of the third lunar month, celebrating the birth of the goddess of the sea. 37 teams paraded from the district and included a golden dragon dance comprising 200 performers. The police force also fielded its anti-scam mascot as their representative. In Yunnan and Sichuan provinces of southwest China, captured footage snub-nosed monkeys, also known as golden hair monkeys, and they are listed as a rare and endangered species under the first-class state protection in China, and are also vulnerable on the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List. The International Pentecost Holiness Church in South Africa held a mass, a wedding ceremony, and this was for 54 couples participating. And the church is known for its promotion of polygamous marriages, which is based on its interpretation of biblical scriptures according to them. So the event was attended by prominent figures, including the South African Member of Parliament, Malusi Gigaba. Well, still to come here on DD India Live. PM Modi to begin a two-day visit to Saudi Arabia on Tuesday. Gold hits a new record high per 10 grams in dollar terms. Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Mark Lynn. On the occasion of the 17th Civil Services Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed civil servants in New Delhi. The Prime Minister also conferred the Prime Minister's Awards for Excellence in Public Administration. 16 awards were given by the Prime Minister in the categories of holistic development of districts, aspirational blocks, program and innovation to civil servants. They were recognized for work done for the welfare of the common citizens. Through this, Prime Minister said that India is setting new benchmarks in governance, transparency and innovation.
हमने 3400 से ज्यादा लीगल प्रोविजंस को भी डीक्रिमिनलाइज कर दिया है। मुझे याद है जब हम कंप्लायंसेस का बर्डन कम करने के लिए काम कर रहे थे, जब व्यापार कारोबार के दौरान होने वाली कुछ गलतियों को डीक्रिमिनलाइज कर रहे थे, तो मेरे लिए आश्चर्य था, कुछ कोने में विरोध के स्वर भी उठा करते थे। कई लोग कहते थे आज तक नहीं हुआ, आप क्यों कर रहे हैं, चलता है चलने दो, इससे आपको क्या फर्क पड़ता है। कंप्लायंस करने दीजिए। आप क्यों अपना काम खुद बढ़ा रहे हैं? चारों तरफ से चर्चाएं चलती थी, दबाव आते थे, लेकिन जिस लक्ष्य को प्राप्त करना था उस लक्ष्य का दबाव इन दबावों से ज्यादा था।
Prime Minister Modi stressed that in the past 10 years, India has moved beyond incremental change to witness impactful transformation. The Prime Minister added that in the age of technology, governance is not about managing systems, it's about multiplying possibilities.
संवेदनशील रहिए, गरीब की आवाज सुनिए, गरीब की तकलीफ समझिए, उनका समाधान करना अपनी प्राथमिकता बनाइए। जैसे अतिथि देवो भव होता है, वैसे ही नागरिक देवो भव, इस मंत्र को लेकर के हमें चलना है। आपको सिर्फ भारत के सिविल सर्वेंट्स के रूप में ही नहीं, विकसित भारत के शिल्पकार के रूप में अपने दायित्व के लिए तैयार करना है।
During his two-day visit to Saudi Arabia, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also visit a dates factory employing Indian workers there. The country is home to roughly 2.7 million Indians. DD India's Amritpal Singh visited this factory in Jeddah. He spoke to the workers.
With a 2.7 million strong Indian diaspora living and working here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has the second highest diaspora anywhere in the world. I'm here right now in Jeddah and outside a factory which Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting on Wednesday when he comes calling on Saudi Arabia on Tuesday and Wednesday for a two-day visit. The Prime Minister shall be coming here and interacting with the workers in this factory. This is the floor of the processing plant or the factory of dates, which this third generation of Indians whose grandfather migrated here started with trading but later went into farming and production and now employs thousands of workers, not just from India but also from the subcontinent and also from Saudi Arabia, working in various capacities. A general perception is that Saudi society is very restrictive. Women do not have the kind of liberties that are seen in other parts of the world. But what we see here belies that. You see these young girls who are Saudi nationals working in this plant owned by Indian entrepreneurs. In fact, I have with me Lama Hafza, who's herself a Saudi national. She's the marketing manager here. Are the gender roles changing in Saudi Arabia when you started or when you were growing up?
Actually, by government, I'm just going to explain it in a nutshell. Working as a female gives you more points in the government itself. So all the companies are now directing towards like having more females.
I have with me Salman Vasaiwala. He is an entrepreneur here. You or your family generate employment and actually contribute to the economy of Saudi Arabia, don't you?
Correct, definitely. Yeah. Now, a lot has changed in the past 50 years. We've gone from trading into manufacturing, farming, distribution, and also with the new Vision 2030 coming up, Saudi Arabia has improved and is supporting us a lot.
The Prime Minister is coming here, visiting your factory, interacting with the workers. What sort of confidence does it inspire in the Indian diaspora working here?
No, actually, they're very excited. All the workers, they're honored. You know, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
हमारा देश का पीएम आएगा सर, बहुत खुशी की बात है सर। हमारा कंपनी में देख के जानकारी लेंगे सर, अच्छा लगेगा, बहुत खुशी की बात है सर। हमारा देश का पीएम है, गौरव है सर।
this sentiment that when the Prime Minister of the country comes and interacts with general factory workers, farm workers, ordinary people living outside their country, it inspires. With cameraman Saurabh Bakshi, this is Amritpal Singh for DD India in Jeddah.
India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman interacted with the Indian diaspora at a community gathering in San Francisco in California. She stressed on connecting with the Indian diaspora across the globe, citing Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of making it a part of every overseas visit of his, because he thinks it is important that India connects with each one of them.
Prime Minister makes it a part of every one of his overseas visit to connect with the Indian diaspora, because he thinks that's the most important thing, that India should be able to stand up with sense of pride and connect with each one of you all who are in whichever part of the world doing your best to contribute to the world and therefore stand out as an example.
And Minister Sitharaman also said that India is now the fastest growing economy. She said that the IMF and the World Bank are recognizing the immense potential that exists in India.
Keeping growth low, keeping trade low, but keeping inflation high in some places. And as a result, in some other places, people think, oh, is there going to be a recession? But in this environment, if India is recognized for its potential, the economic strength that it has, if you high-end achievers in this area see the potential to partner with India, individually or commercially, cooperation to cooperation, you benefit, United States of America benefits, India benefits, Indian businesses benefit, and together we are going to have to lift the global trade and growth. I think that's a very big contribution Indian diaspora here can do.
Indian equity indices ended on a positive note in a volatile session on Monday. At close, the Sensex had jumped 855.30 points. It settled at 79,408.50. The Nifty had surged 273.90 points, closing at 24,125.55. The Indian rupee jumped 25 paise to settle at 85.13 against the US dollar. Gold hit a fresh record high of 96,747 per 10 grams in early deals in India on Monday amid persisting concerns over the economic impact of the ongoing trade war. The dollar's weakness against its peers also supports gold prices. International spot gold also hit a record high of $3,384 during the session as investors continue to rush for safe haven assets as mounting concerns over the escalating US-China trade war. Now, the dollar's weakness is another key factor which supports gold prices because gold is priced in dollars. And when the US currency weakens, gold becomes cheaper in other currencies, enhancing its demand. And now moving on to the sports news. The Board of Control for Cricket in India, the BCCI, it's announced the annual contracts, the player contracts for 2024-25. The Test captain Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Jasprit Bumrah and Ravindra Jadeja, they have been named in the Grade A+ category. Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan return, while Rishabh Pant has been promoted. Iyer has been given a Grade B contract, whereas Ishan has been rewarded and he's been awarded a Grade C contract. Now, the wicketkeeper batter Rishabh Pant has been promoted to a Grade A category. A total of 34 players have been included in various categories. This annual player contracts list, it's applicable from the 1st of October 2024 to the 30th of September 2025. Real Madrid's Federico Valverde netted a superb late volley to secure a 1-0 win over Atletico Bilbao, and this happened to keep them within 4 points of the La Liga leaders Barcelona. Athletic side had kept the hosts at bay until Valverde scored the winner 3 minutes into stoppage time, pouncing on a poor clearance to fire a volley into the far top corner. Vinicius Jr. thought he had handed Real the lead with a low shot, but the effort was disallowed by the video assistant referee due to an offside. Real bounced back after their Champions League exit at the hands of Arsenal and move up to 69 points, 6 clear of the third place Atletico Madrid. Holger Rune denied Carlos Alcaraz a third Barcelona Open trophy when he stunned the Spaniard 7-6, 6-2 in the final to lift his first title in 2 years. Alcaraz had won the tournament in 2022 and 2023, but the top seed had seemed to be struggling with an injury midway through the match, allowing Rune to capitalize and win his first trophy since the Bavarian Open in April of 2023. Rune was nearly flawless as he became only the second player to beat Alcaraz in his last 23 matches on clay. Alcaraz's previous defeat on clay came in the Paris Olympics against Novak Djokovic. That's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those of you on the go, get the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. It's available on Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on your screens and download it now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. My name is Mark Lin. From all of us here in Delhi, thank you for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.